What's going on, you guys? Day 3 of my extended fast. I'm shooting for 10 days. We'll see how it goes. I have to say this is the day, normally, historically, that things really get difficult, okay? It hits the fan usually on the third day for me of a longer fast. Now, granted, I've only done this a handful of times, but I'll say this. Today has not been that bad. And so what have I done today? I'll start with last night. After I made the video and posted last night, I had some apple cider vinegar, a little bit of that, maybe 2 tablespoons, with some potassium salt, some pink Himalayan salt, and just kind of swirled it around, diluted it a little bit. It smelled like a public bathroom from hell, but I drank it. I don't mind strong flavors. So I drank it up and felt pretty good, really. Actually, it was pretty refreshing. And woke up with a slight headache this morning. Now, I will say this. I had trouble sleeping last night. I'm not sure if that was because of the fasting, because I felt like I wanted to sleep more. But what happened was there was a scared child who ran in at 3:30 in the morning. He had a bad dream. There was a dog with neglected toenails that was clacking around on the floors. Just seemed to be pacing like crazy. There was water dripping. It was raining outside, and someone had left a vinyl chair right outside my window, and it was just like this constant dripping all night long. It was a thunderstorm for 3 hours, and I had to get up to pee because I'm starting to get into ketosis, and I had weird dreams, you guys. I mean, it's only the third day, and I dreamt that I ate a spoonful of brown sugar. So I don't know what the symbolism is there, but cue the Rolling Stones, brown sugar. In the dream, it tasted so good, and I felt so guilty. So who knows? And then I had another dream that I crapped the bed, like that I pooped in the bed right next to my wife. And that could happen, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But so it wasn't a good night's sleep. However, my energy today has been great, much better than I expected it to be. I worked today. I had lots of mental focus, just crisp and clear. I have had some hunger pangs yesterday and today. It's been kind of embarrassing at work because they just hired a new lady, and my stomach is just going off as I'm working. It's quiet. There needs to be music or something in there, but so yeah, it's been a little bit embarrassing, just my stomach being so loud. But I just drink some water, have a cup of coffee, and keep on rolling. One thing I've learned is that hunger does not get more intense. The longer you fast, hunger does not get more intense. It just comes in waves. It comes in little brief waves, maybe 15, 20 minutes. You drink some water, you sip some ice water, you have a hot cup of coffee, you do something like that, and it passes. It's manageable. It's not like a headache that starts out small and goes to a migraine or something like that. Hunger's not that way. So it's a manageable thing. And I just kept busy today. That's basically what I did. When I woke up, I had a slight headache. It dissipated really quickly. And I have noticed a little more phlegm. So that's just something I'm noting here. I don't know what it means, if anything. So other than some minor fasting things, there isn't much to say. There's a chicken behind me. That's one of our hens here. They're out catching the bugs. It's good for me. Now here's what I have to say. I said that usually the third day of a fast is the day I don't trust a fart. Well, here's what normally happens for me, okay? The first time I ever fasted, I was 16. I was about on day 3, and I was sitting on my mother's favorite chair, and sipping my coffee and reading a book, and had to fart, just had some gas. And so I let it go, and instantly injected my mother's favorite chair with green goo that smelled like nuclear waste. And so last night, and in fact I fasted for about 4 days about 4 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, something like that. The same thing happened on the third day. In fact, every time I have fasted more than 3 days, I'm just going to level with you. I'm just going to tell you plain. I'm just going to give it to you straight. Every time I fasted more than 3 days, I have pooped my pants. Literally, a grown man pooping his pants. From the time I was 16 to the handful of times that I fasted since then. So, come this plan for an extended fast, I was ready. Okay? So what I've noticed, I'm more in tune now with what's going on. I've noticed that it starts with just a churning. It's not like a normal sickness or like you're going to have diarrhea or something. It's just a churning. It's just like stuff moving around. It's not cramps. It's not painful. But you just feel like, wait, things are moving in there. That's my cue. That's when I know to be ready. And, I'm screaming at my wife to get out of the bedroom because I have to take care of business. The chickens are flapping over here. So, to me, that's manageable. It's a minor inconvenience. And it passed last night, which was at the 50-hour mark. So it happened earlier. And I wanted to bring that up because that's good news for me. That means my body is getting used to fasting. It's getting used to, things are happening faster for me. And again, this is the third day for me. I have had so much energy today and so much mental clarity that it's really good news. I mean, I feel like I'm getting better at fasting. I feel like my body is just getting acclimated to it. And, it's kind of like the reactions that we first have in the first few days of fasting, they are not pleasant, okay? Someone accused me of pretending or acting like fasting is just easy all the time, and it's not, especially when you start out. And I think I've always been honest about that, but, I just want to be clear about that it's uncomfortable when you first begin, but really think about it, you guys. That's no different than when you start an exercise regimen. You start some exercise regimen, you decide you want to get, ripped, and you go out there and you pound the weights or you go for a jog or whatever it is you do. Guess what happens the next day or two, maybe? You're having a reaction in your body, a soreness, the lactic acid that's not out of your muscles yet is making itself known to you, but you don't give up exercising, or hopefully you don't. And it's kind of like that with fasting. I wrote someone an email earlier, and that idea was just kind of came up in my thinking. That it's something as we practice at it, we do get better. That is open to us to get better at it because our body gets acclimated to it. And our body gets acclimated, it transitions faster from sugar burning, from glycogen, to fat storage, and release the grease. Let's get this guy in the long-term category because he's doing this stuff. And so no irritability today in terms of my mood, no real discomfort except for the intestinal. I have been lightheaded once or twice if I got up too fast, and that's from lowered blood pressure. All of it very manageable, no problems, no concerns so far. I haven't had anything but water and coffee and those few electrolyte supplements that I mentioned earlier. So, common problem, you can't trust a fart on your, once you get past that 48-hour mark, towards the 72-hour mark, you have to be careful when you're fasting. And you have to have an exit plan if you're at work or something like that. It's funny. My wife thinks it's hilarious that I might crap the bed, literally. But, she's lowbrow. But, it's manageable for me. It's something that's easy. This is really not as hard as I thought it was going to be. Now, tomorrow is the other big day in my mind, the fourth day. And we'll just see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. But right now, I'm really feeling great. So... And I would tell you if I felt terrible and pooped my pants. You know that, I've been honest. And just in case you wonder if it's just me or if I'm crazy, I will link to a couple of highly professional scientific articles in the description below. I'll link to a good article, and I'll link to another testimonial of someone who has experienced what I've experienced. So you'll find it very interesting and entertaining, I'm sure, if you check it out. Okay, so on to that's how I'm doing. So far, a couple of you have asked me about exercise because I mentioned exercise yesterday. I said that I exercised on the first day. I hit the weights pretty hard, and in fact, yesterday I did some mild exercise. I went for a walk with a friend of mine, and probably by the 4th or 5th day, either tomorrow or the next day, I will hit the weights again, or I'll go for a walk with a ruck. I'll wear a weighted sack and go for a walk. So a couple of you have said, well, you shouldn't be exercising on your on a fast like this. And I'm just going to read to you, it's not so much my opinion. Here's what Dr. Fung wrote. He writes about exercise while fasting. And, the only thing that's really changing in a fast, there are some changes in nutrition, but our bodies conserved all this fat for a reason. I have all this, whatever it is, 250,000 calories. My body has always been preparing for some winter or some demand that's going to be placed on it that's never come. Well, now it's here in this fasting. And so my metabolic needs have not changed. The only thing that's changed is I'm not eating. The source of energy is coming from a different place. It's coming from what I've already stored. And so Dr. Fung writes about that quite, in his book, The Complete Guide to Fasting. You can check that out. But here's just a little excerpt. Can you exercise while fasting? Absolutely. The benefits include you can train harder due to increased adrenaline. You'll recover from a workout and build muscle faster due to increased growth hormone. You'll burn more fat due to increased fatty acid oxidation. Train harder, build muscle, burn fat. Perfect. So, one of you who asked the question about exercise and fasting asked about my opinion. My opinion is that if you're doing one meal a day or you're doing alternate day fasting or one of the intermittent fasting regimens right now, you can exercise with really no worries at all. You can exercise as intensely as you want to. If you're doing an extended fast like I'm doing and you've never done an extended fast before, this is the first time, here's my advice to you. Take it easy. Just take it easy. Don't do strenuous stuff. Do some yoga. Go for a walk. Things that you find are not too intense. And, the reason I say that is because I think, like anything else, your muscles have to get used to it, to fasting. Your muscles have to get used to fasting, the same as they would when you increase your exercise regimen. It takes some time to acclimate. How much time is up to you. I push the boundaries a little bit, but this week, for example, I'm probably only going to exercise like intensely twice and for a lesser amount than I normally would. Next week, I'll see how I feel. If I feel good, I don't have a lot of, stress or soreness. I'm not dizzy. I'm not nauseous. I don't have any symptoms of anything. Guess what? I'm going to be working out. I'm going to do my exercise regimen because I don't want to lose the muscle that I have. I mean, I like the way this shirt just kind of, see right there? See that? There's muscle in there underneath all that blubber. I'm serious. So, I want to keep that stuff. I want to keep the muscle that I have, the lean mass I have. That's what's going to burn fat for me after I finish this fasting regimen and help me to keep the weight off. So that's my opinion on exercise. I hope it's been helpful. I appreciate those of you who've written to me. There's been several of you that have written some great emails to me, and I want to share those actually here on the channel. Just bits and snippets in the next few days. So I hope I've answered your questions. Thank you for watching. Thank you for all the support. And eat, drink, and be merry. Tomorrow I'll still be here fasting. See you tomorrow, you guys. Have a good one.